You know, values are called values because it's something that you value.
That's profound.
Yes, and that's Tim that wrote that, so
Yeah.
if you enjoyed that, let him know. But seriously though, if something is important to you, you spend your time on it, you spend your energy on it. The things that matter to us, we invest into. And so at Resonate, we invest into our values because they're important to us.
The first of our values is excellence in teaching. We believe that God has revealed himself to us in the Bible, and therefore it is God's word to us. Our goal is always going to be to open the Bible and then ask, what is the Bible saying? And then what does it mean by what it says? And then how can I apply that to my life? And that means that we're growing in our ability to see Jesus throughout the scriptures. We're also growing in having a consistent worldview so that we're looking at the world the way Jesus looked at the world. That's excellence in teaching.
And then that leads to our passion in worship. Really, our desire is that we have passion in worship. Some of you have been raised in various capacities of going to church and what your experiences in worship have been. And there's so many different opinions on the way that you sing a song or the style of the music that you play. At Resonate, we really don't care about style. We really don't care about any of that stuff. What we care about is the words of the songs that we sing. You know, we want them to be about Jesus. We want it to be about God and lifting him up, not about us. And then that talks about singing, but worship is so much more than singing because we want our lives to be an act of worship to God. That the way that I live my life every day reflects the character of God, the same way that we want our songs to reflect the character and love of God. And then as a culmination of that, when we get together on a Sunday morning and we sing songs, we can be so full of emotion that our whole body wants to be involved in singing a song to Jesus and lifting up his name in worship.
You know, and that follows naturally then with our next value, which is intensity and obedience. That when we have seen Jesus and we savor him, that the natural response of our heart should be an intensity of obedience. Now, I think every church talks about the fact that we're supposed to obey Jesus. That's just kind of a given. But you know, when Jesus talked about it, he said that if any man's going to come after me, that he needs to take up a cross and follow me. A cross, that was a form of execution. Yeah. Jesus is saying, listen, there's an intensity of obedience here. It's gonna cost you something to follow me.
Yeah, and then both of those values, the intensity and obedience and the humility and service, really do lead into authenticity in a relationship. Right. That really our goal at Resonate is that we are authentic with each other. Well, what does that mean? That means that me, Nick, is willing to go and to share where I struggle, to share my sinfulness with someone else, and to have them hold me accountable to it, to have them hold me accountable to changing the course of my life in that specific area to make much of Jesus. I'm a sinful person. Tim is a sinful person.
Right.
And we want to be willing to understand the fact that we're not perfect people, that God knows we're not perfect people, but that we have a desire to make much of Jesus and to grow in those areas. And that we can grow in those areas of our sinfulness. And that we're all on this journey of life together. That it's about us walking hand in hand, humbly submitting to each other over our sinfulness, praying for each other, and being willing to spend time with each other to help each other in those relationships. And then that leads us to our final value, which is enthusiasm and outreach. And our church does a couple things to show outreach to our community. One of them is we do a community picnic every year. We get a bunch of inflatable games. We spend some money on really just showing our community that we're here and that we love them. Then we follow that on Halloween for Trick or Treat, we set up some carnival games where kids can come and win candy. But really, our goal is to make much of Jesus Christ. And part of us making much of Jesus Christ is sharing the treasure that he is with other people. That as we begin to understand who God is and what he's done for us, that should lead us to be excited about it and want to share that message with everyone God allows us to come across. People who are far from Jesus, we want them to understand the glorious love of God and his grace and mercy in their lives. And so that's some of the things that we're about at Resonate.